Well, today is the first day of the new legislative session in Colorado, and state Democrats are coming out swinging, introducing a bill that's already seeing some backlash. Now, the measure is a first of its kind in this country. It attempts to ban the sale of semi-automatic guns with detachable magazines.
You didn't need the Psychic Friends hotline to see this one coming. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use the website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. If you like channel, like content, and what I do, you can support me. The link, everything is appreciated. And once again, comments on gun-related channels are being scrutinized, so realize that your comment can be taken down without notice. If I remove your comment, I will tell you why I did so. Let's talk about this. And this is coming into the 2025 legislative year in Colorado. This is Senate Bill number 3, which at its core is to ban all semi-automatic firearms that take a magazine. Right off the jump, this is unconstitutional, and there is already Supreme Court precedent for this. If you remember D.C. Heller 2, which addressed this very matter. We have to go back a little in history here. When Heller was being heard in the Supreme Court, the then mayor, Adrian Fenty, could see that they were going to lose. So he went forward to lay down some rules on what was going to happen with the registration of firearms. And if you remember, he said this.
We want to thank everybody for being here. Obviously, this is an extremely important decision that was just rendered by the Supreme Court. For us, it's an important decision for the people of the District of Columbia, but I think everyone is quite aware that with the constitutional ramifications of the Supreme Court's decision, it is now an important decision for the entire country and maybe for the entire world. Today's announcement, as you all are aware, the Supreme Court has ruled in the District of Columbia versus Heller. Unfortunately and disappointedly, the Supreme Court did not uphold the 3-decade-old handgun ban here in the District of Columbia. Instead, they ruled in favor of the lower court. First, all firearms in the District of Columbia, including handguns, must be registered with the Metropolitan Police Department's Firearms Registration Section before they may be lawfully possessed. Again, that was always the law, and that will be the law for handguns in the home. Second, automatic and semi-automatic handguns generally remain illegal in the District of Columbia with this ruling.
That statement led to D.C. Heller 2, which specifically addressed semi-automatic firearms, which, of course, majority of which take magazines. The Supreme Court said, no, you cannot ban semi-automatic firearms from the Heller decision. So immediately Colorado's behind the 8 ball. But once again, as most of these people do when they make unconstitutional laws, they don't care. Because if they have to go to court over this, they're not spending their money. They're spending the taxpayers' money to defend their laws. That's why they do these things on a regular basis. Now, I want to give you a little bit more information on what is actually happening.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon spoke to the bill's sponsor, who says this will save lives. A gun rights group believes it also violates the Second Amendment.
The main takeaway is that this year, the Democrats are definitely not messing around on the gun issue.
This is now a priority.
One of the first bills introduced Wednesday is Senate Bill 3. It aims to ban the sale, purchase, and manufacturing of semi-automatic guns that have detachable ammunition magazines.
That's what has put the mass into mass shootings, is the high-capacity magazines, the easy ability to drop one magazine and put another magazine in there and just continue to fire.
Ian Escalante is the executive director of the lobbyist group.
what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge freeze of guns coming to Colorado.
Whenever I was talking with Senator Sullivan about this bill, he was really trying to say that it was about making sure that illegal high-capacity magazines aren't put within weapons.
I mean, that's the excuse that they're using. The goal is to ban the weapons outright.
He believes it's a repackaging of the so-called assault weapons ban killed in committee last year.
When in reality, it's even more extreme than the last two times, the last two go-arounds with this measure.
You heard that and you saw that. Now, this Senator Sullivan, his son was killed at the Aurora, Colorado shooting at the movie theater. And once again, he is pulling at heartstrings instead of common sense. But they don't care about that because it's not about that. It's about using these events, these mass shootings, to promote gun control. Now, as I always say, this is not about anyone's damn safety. If you remember, just in January 1st, a man killed 15 people and wounded 57 others with a truck plowing through a crowd. What law would you suggest that we put in place to prevent that from happening? They say that we don't care, that gun owners, those who promote the Second Amendment, don't care about the loss of life. We actually care more than they do because we don't use very specific incidences to push for any kind of laws. We realize that there are evil people in this world and we have to address the core problem. And the core problem is not a firearm. Now, as this goes forward, obviously, they already failed on 2 attempts to ban assault weapons in the state. But they're going to try again, once again, to roll the dice to see if they can get this through, which is unconstitutional, period. And another thing that I've said, and I hope that a lawyer can get this straight. Every time they push laws like this and they go to court, they're using the taxpayers' money to defend themselves, which means they technically have unlimited resources to push through a law that has nothing to do with safety, but they don't care about that. I always ask, is there a way that people could do a class action lawsuit to prevent the state from using specifically their tax dollars to defend unconstitutional laws? And if there was a man in Oregon like 6 years ago who stopped paying state taxes because the state was using that money to promote abortion, which he was completely against. And he actually won his case.
An Oregon man protests paying taxes because of abortion. Michael Bowman of Columbia City says he has a duty to his conscience. He has refused to file a tax return or pay taxes without some accommodation afforded to him for his Christian beliefs about abortion. I understand a judge recently dismissed a tax evasion case against you. Do you see that as a victory?
Well, good question. I see it as a partial victory, and I'll tell you why. Because he dismissed the felony charge of evasion. I've never concealed or hidden anything from the government. I've been asking for a remedy, and under Title 42, Chapter 21B, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, they are obliged to give me a remedy, and they have just turned a deaf ear, right?
Is there a way of doing that when it comes to situations like this? Can the constitutionalists and gun owners of that state pool their resources into a class action suit to prevent the state from using their tax dollars to defend themselves in this specific case? I'd like to hear if that's a viable option. It worked for this man in Oregon. I would say it would work in this case also. Now, whether this goes through or not is up in the air. We don't know. But this is going to be the new line of attack on gun rights. With this election and the Republicans taking the House, Senate, and the presidency, these anti-gun groups know that they're never going to get anything through at the federal level. And they've already said, and this was going back years ago, once again in Colorado, where Moms Demand Action stated that they're going to use a grassroots state level attack on gun owners.
This message is for everyone, but especially white women.
We're being called to show up in Denver on June 5th with an executive order demanding that Governor Polis ban guns and buy them back.
You heard that right. Ban guns and buy them back. We're starting with Denver because Colorado has high levels of school shootings and the governor is a Democrat.
So this is happening. And other states that have Democrat majorities, pay attention, because trust me, they're watching this very closely to see what happens. Because if Colorado passes this, you're going to see this crop up in other states. Oregon, New York, Connecticut, Maryland. It goes on and on. All these Democrat-controlled states and entities will try and attempt to do the exact same thing. Okay? So this is what we're now going to experience. We're going to see these state-level attacks on gun rights, all of which are going to end up in court, which always takes years to get anything done. But we must be aware that this is going to be the new grift by the anti-gun establishment. They're going to work at the state levels to get the states to pass egregious and unconstitutional laws. Colorado is leading the way. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.